बड़ी केबल कहाँ है? पढ़ो ये दाल को
शबीर अपने रोज़े पे बुलवाएंगे ज़रूर, तो कीर तू निकाल दे दिल से बना लुको कुछ भी क्या अंधेरा है सुझाए नहीं देता कुछ भी हाथ रखता नहीं अम्मा मेरे सर पर कोई और चंद रोज में मर जाऊंगी मैं घुट घुट कर सिंदा में सकीना भरा करता बदल दो मेरा प्यारी अम्मा भरा करता बदल दो मेरा प्यारी अम्मा अपनी गोदी में सुला लो मुझे वारी अम्मा सोने देता नहीं एक पल मुझे ये हिजर पिदर सिना में सकीना ये बुका करती गिरो दम घुटता है अम्मा मेरा अब यहाँ से चलो घर सिना में सकीना सल्लल्लाहु मोहम्मद व अला मोहम्मद।
لعنة الله على أعدائهم وقتلتهم وغاصب حقوقهم ومنكري فضائلهم ملعونين. أما بعد, for the happiness of Hazrat Zahra Marziya, for the enlightenment of the graves of Yawm al-Umeen, of the graves of the Shahada, Ulama and Siddiqeen, for the safety of the followers of Ahlul Bayt around the world, and for the safety and the hastening of the reappearance of Hazrat Baqiyatullah al-A'zam, Arwahum al-Fida, please recite your loudest salawat. All praise due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yesterday we began our discussion around the effects of certain sins upon our lives, taking a support from the hadith of Imam al-Sajjad salawatullah wa salamu alayhi, where the Imam begins to explain in this particular part of the hadith the sin that a person commits that causes tughayyirun ni'am, that causes their blessings to be changed, that makes their blessings go from something good into something bad. And the Imam said that there were 4 parts to it. Those of that narration, we looked at a couple yesterday. The first one was al-baghi al-nas, doing dhulm upon the people. When a person oppresses other people, when a person does dhulm upon other people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala changes those blessings. And we spoke about dhulm in some depth yesterday, that dhulm isn't just one country bombing another country, rather dhulm extends beyond that. If I park my car in a bad way, if I drive in a certain way, if I beat my horn and like that, on a social level, that is all still considered dhulm as well. And the Imam says that that will cause blessings that we have to be removed, to be changed into negative aspects within our lives. The second thing that the Imam said is giving up bad habits, giving up good habits. So a person that had already become accustomed to doing good and had the opportunity in their life, they used to recite Salatul Layl, they used to recite the Holy Quran, they used to do many good things during their earlier years, but then they decided to leave them for whatever reason. And so as a result of leaving that action, Allah Ta'ala will take away the blessings in their lives, will take away the other blessings in their life, to the extent that now they start to become inflicted with problems. The third thing that we discussed yesterday was tarq al-ikhtiyar, or choosing to leave amr. A person that walks away or doesn't enjoy good upon his community, upon himself. And we gave you a couple of examples yesterday of people throughout history who had chosen not to say anything in the face of bad things happening, evil happening within their communities. As a result of that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroys the whole community. The people of Thamud, of Nabi Saleh, they come and they choose not to speak against that one man who killed the she-camel of Nabi Saleh. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroys the whole nation. All of these individuals that came throughout history, you see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed many people from Bani Israel because of this, that they chose to stay quiet. In one of the narrations they say that Nabi Isa is walking with the Hawariyun, and they come to a place where they find dead bodies or graves littered all over this place, and a city destroyed. The Hawariyun say to Hazrat Isa, what has happened here? Hazrat Isa says that it seems like the adhab of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has come upon these people. The Hawariyun go to say to Hazrat Isa that, Ya Ruh Allah, will you be able to call them from the barzakh and ask them what sin is it that they committed that caused them to be destroyed? Hazrat Isa stands at a high point, he raises his hands, he invokes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then he invokes the people of that land, and he says, will none of you come forward and speak to me? At this moment they say a voice is heard from the ghaib, because it's possible for us to interact with people in the barzakh. We have a'mal that we can do in order to see our relatives or other individuals within the barzakh, see what state they are in the barzakh, and interact with them in alim al-ru'ya, in dream world. So the prophets of Allah, the awliya of Allah, they don't require the dream state. They can interact even in this plane. So Hazrat Isa begins to call out. Someone replies, wa alaykum salam ya ruh Allah. Hazrat Isa says to this voice, says, then who are you? He says, I was one of the dwellers of this place. He says, tell me what happened. He says, here the adhab of Allah came upon us. He says, what was it? There were tall mountains of fire that fell upon us and destroyed our whole nation. He says, what was your sin? He says, our sin was this, that we had excessive love of the dunya. Our love of the dunya was such that we cared for it like a mother cares for her child. When it suited us, we loved it. When it turned away from us or it didn't go in our favor, we turned against it and we cursed it constantly. The second thing is that we were individuals that stayed quiet and allowed oppressors to rule over us. People who were unjust, people who brought about oppression upon the earth, and we just stayed quiet in the face of these unjust leaders. Hazrat Isa says, so then why is it that you speak to me and no one else comes forward to speak to me? The voice replies, says, Ya Isa, I was not from amongst these people. Says, I was part of them, but I used to live aside from them. And he says, so then why is it that you are able to speak to me? He says, Ya Isa, I am suspended by a single hair in total darkness. My people are being tormented and burnt in the barzakh of hell, but I have been suspended by a single hair of my head in absolute darkness. Hazrat Isa says, why is it that you're not enjoying the bounties? That you were someone that didn't agree with their actions. You lived away from them. He says, because, O Ruh Allah, my one problem was that when they were doing bad, I didn't stand up and tell them that they were doing bad. I didn't do amr bil ma'ruf, I didn't do nahi anil munkar. And as a result, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has suspended me in the barzakh of total darkness by a single thread of my hair, and I will remain like this until the day of judgment. A person that leaves amr bil ma'ruf and nahi anil munkar. And munkar, this evil or this bad within society, comes in various forms, in various stages, in various forms. And the one that does amr bil ma'ruf and nahi anil munkar, before I go into this point, he holds a very high station in the eyes of Allah. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi The Holy Prophet says that whoever does amr bil ma'ruf and nahi anil munkar, فَهُوَ خَلِيفَةُ اللَّهِ فِي أَرْضِهِ وَخَلِيفَةُ رَسُولِهِ وَخَلِيفَةُ كِتَابِ. That person that does amr bil ma'ruf and nahi anil munkar, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordains him to be the Khalifa of Allah upon the earth. He is the Khalifa of the Prophet of God upon the earth, and he is the Khalifa of the Book of Allah, the representative of the Book of Allah. So munkar, evil, can come in a number of ways that we need to understand to be able to tackle it. The first is the munkar within the aqa'id, the evil that has seeped into our aqa'id. Be that in the form of shirk, where people now say words like Ali Rabb, or Ali Raziq, or Ali Khaliq. All of this kufr, this shirk that people say, this is slowly but surely creeping into our aqa'id. It is being brought into our aqidah. And very often than not, it is brought into the aqidah through various qasa'id, various qasidas and things. And we don't realize it. Sometimes we listen to these things and we get happy hearing this shirk, but not realizing that we're committing a sin by listening to it. Because Allah holds total rububiyyah. To address anyone else in that form of rububiyyah is nothing but tantamount to shirk. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran says that, do you see any other khaliq in the heavens or the earth? To address anyone else as khaliq is shirk. He says, do you find any other raziq in the heavens and the earth? To address anyone else, be that even the a'imma as raziq, this is shirk. Yes, the narration comes about the Imam of our time. بِيُمْنِهِ رُزِقَ الْوَرَاءِ وَبِوُجُودِهِ ثَبَتَتِ الْأَرْضُ وَالسَّمَاءِ. That through his existence, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the rizq to the inhabitants of the earth. وَبِوُجُودِهِ ثَبَتَتِ الْأَرْضُ وَالسَّمَاءِ. And through his existence exist the heavens and the skies. What this means is not the Imams themselves distribute to rizq. Rather, if I want to hold a dinner for someone that I hold dear, what do? I call them, I call other people, and I sit this person at a high table, and this is my guest of honor. And so now for the sake of this guest of honor, I feed everyone else. Yeah, you see this sometimes when we have guests around, we bring them to our homes, they're there, but we also call other people that we love, that are close to us, and as a result of this person, we feed other people, we give other people that food, we celebrate with them to celebrate these individuals. When the narration says بِيُمْلِهِ رُزِقَ الْوَرَاءِ وَبِوُجُودِهِ ثَبَتَتِ الْأَرْضُ وَالسَّمَاءِ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala means what? He means that Ahl al-Bayt are the guests of honor for this whole existence, and as a result of his love for Ahl al-Bayt, he gives the world its rizq. This is what it means. Don't be taken in by these words. We need to be very careful of, especially in Urdu, our qasidas and things that are coming out, the inhirafat that are being brought into the religion. These deviations, we have to be aware. Where various things are being brought in, where the aqaid are being attacked, where we are being dragged towards jahiliyyah. You see people coming forward and attacking the ulama. You find people trying to push us away from the company of ulama. One of the reasons that Allah lets a person down, in dua Abu Hamza Thumali, the Imam says, Imam as-Sajjad says, he says, oh Allah, I don't understand why it is that every time I feel my inner self becoming slightly better, becoming more inclined towards you, something happens and I fall. Or I don't understand what it is when I find my gatherings to be from amongst the gatherings of the tawabin. My friends become good friends, and I start sitting amongst them, and I start feeling that I'm becoming a better person. Something happens and I'm separated from them. Oh my Lord, I don't know what it is when I make the intention to stand to pray to you. فَإِذَا أَنَا صَلَّيْتَ نُعَاسًا إِذَا أَنَا صَلَّيْتَ, that when I stand to pray to you, sleep comes upon me. Have you made that intention ever in your life, that today I'm going to recite Salat al-Layl, today I'm going to get up and do ibadat in the middle of the night, today I'm going to be a true follower of Ali. Ali recited Salat al-Layl, Ali was struck on the head, and when he was being taken back, he addressed the son, oh son, bear witness that you never saw Ali sleep, but Ali always watched you rise. Hearing this, I make the intention that I want to pray Salat al-Layl, I want to do ibadat, but every time I stand to do ibadat, I become tired and I fall asleep. Imam refers to that stage. He says, Sayyidi, لعلك عن بابك تركتني وعن خدمتك ناحيتني. Says, my Lord, let it not be the case that you have expelled me from your door and you have removed me from my service, from your service. He says, is it the case that this has happened? Then the Imam begins to list 10 reasons as to why. أو لعلك في مجالس الآلف في مجالس البطالين فبيني وبينهم خليتني. Oh, maybe it is because you found me amongst fond of the gatherings of the wrongdoers, thus you have left me to them. Or maybe it is because you found me amongst the kadhibin, amongst the liars, thus you have let me down. أو لعلك في في مجالس العلماء فخذلتني. That, oh, maybe it is because you have not found me fond of the gathering of the ulama, thus you have let go of me. One of the reasons for misguidance of an individual, according to the fourth Imam, as per Dua Abu Hamza Thumali, is the lack of love to sit amongst the scholars. And there is a movement that is happening within the whole Shia world, but specifically within this subcontinent, that is forcing people away from the ulama, and thus dragging us back into a state of jahiliyyah. That now we hear something that we've never heard before, or we hear something that goes against practices that we have done for years and years, then all of a sudden we turn against the ulama of our nation. This is one of the signs of jahiliyyah. This is one of the inhirafat that has entered into our religion. That the aqaid are being attacked, but those individuals that can defend the aqaid are not given the time of day. And rather we choose people over the basis that their voice sounds good. Not who will save our akhirah. Not who will help us into that journey into the unknown world. So the first thing that happens is this munkar within the aqaid. We have that. To be able to tackle it, we need to understand it. Then there's the munkar evil within the akhlaq, within our own morality. That is that we have become accustomed to lying. Sometimes lying becomes the default position. Someone asks us a question where it is a direct attack on us. We've done something wrong. Someone asks us a question, straight away my initial answer, no, it wasn't me. No, it wasn't me. And then afterwards, okay, yeah, it was me. Or then we become accustomed to doing ghibah, doing the ghibah of other individuals, other mu'mineen. Or we become accustomed to doing tuhmat. So now all we're happy doing, we get a text message about someone, okay, no problem, we can't verify it, nothing's true. We forward it to everyone. This person is like this person is like this, don't appoint this person. We have it because this hubb al-riyasa, you find it in our Husainiyas in England. Inshallah, it's not here. But those that become the leaders of communities, those unfortunate souls who take upon their shoulders the mantle of being the khadim, the khudama of the community, then they become into the firing line for everything that they do. And so now every one of their actions is scrutinized to the point that no one wants to serve the community. And so we start these rumors and all of this. It's become commonplace within our society. And this is the munkar, this is the disease within the society that will lead to our degradation. Because we're so accustomed towards committing these acts, these akhlaqi problems and manifesting them within ourselves. Then we have the issues of the ijtima, of the society, the munkar within society. The wider society, then our own society. You see, the problem that we at times have, and I said this in the seminar yesterday, is that when we look at other individuals, other problems in society, we always point saying, this is a problem in this society. This is what the issue is. But yet we don't do anything about it. Because for some reason, through our own takabbur, our own pride, we think that I'm not part of this problem. This problem has nothing to do with me. This is their problem. But what I don't realize is that I'm part of that society. I'm part of this society. So if there's a problem with alcohol and drugs within this society, I'm part of that problem. Even if I don't drink or even if I don't take drugs. But I'm part of the problem because I'm not finding a solution for it. Be that a problem amongst Muslims or non-Muslims. Even in our own communities, in the Shia, we have problems with drugs and alcohol. But yet no one wants to address it. No one wants to try and take the bull by the horns and reform the community. The person that consumes alcohol, one drop of alcohol, his sakaratul maut are so difficult. That sakaratul maut are difficult in any circumstances. But the sakarat of the one that drinks alcohol or has consumed a single drop of alcohol is like, they say, when you take a piece of silk and throw it on a thorn bush, and then the way you pull it off and you see how it tears and rips and will not separate. They say the one that has drunk alcohol in his life, his sakarat is like that, with so much pain, so much discomfort. So we have all these problems within our society. We have a duty towards them. We have a duty to reform them. We have the duty to identify, to try and change, to try and help. Then you have the munkar within our family structure coming in slightly. I'm great everywhere else in the Husayniyah. I'm amazing. I'm the greatest mu'min. Everyone loves me. Everyone thinks I'm one of the best mu'mineen. But when I go home, I am the biggest zalim there is to my wife. My akhlaq outside, everyone says he's an angel. Inside is Fir'aun. Outside, everyone says, what a great wife. Inside, she's turned his hair white. Or made it fall out. We have these problems, this bad akhlaq that enters into our families. Or then, we're raising children by not showing them the correct way. We're sending them to go and learn Quran, but they come home and mum and dad have never picked up Quran in their life. It's a munkar within society. We send them and they hear majlis, music is haram, this is wrong. But when they're going home in the car, there's music playing. Or they go inside their house, there's music. We try and raise good children, but yet we don't look at whether our food is halal or haram, where we're getting our money from. And then we say, why is it my children have left the deen? I don't understand. Why is it that they don't want to come to the Husayniyah? Why is it that they don't want to pray? It's all those years that they were fed food that was haram. And so now they've developed and changed and formed into that lifestyle where they're inclined towards evil, where they're inclined towards shaitan, where they want to walk away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is that munkar within the family. Then we have in economic senses, the munkar within the economy. Those that consume interest, those that give things on interest, those that short sell. We spoke about the people, Nabi Shu'aib yesterday. The munkar within politics. The evil within politics. Not all politics is evil, but the societies within which we live, the amount of lying, the amount of false truth, the amount of half-truths that are told, they become commonplace within politics, to the extent that the normal good people think that you can't be a politician unless you're a liar or a cheat. Unless you know how to steal from the people. If you're not versed in that, you can't be a politician. You cannot be an upstanding, straight politician. Because that's a problem. And really you can't blame people for that. You look around in society today and you look at who we have as world leaders. On one side you have that buffoon Trump, that every single thing he says, lies become for him truths. And his lies are the world is a crazy place that we live in. In one side you've got this Kim Jong-un, on the other side you've got Trump. And both of them have access to a nuclear arsenal. It's a crazy world we live in. And people are, okay, fine, this is how it is. They elected them all. Kim Jong-un didn't, but Trump, he was elected. It's how backward society has become. People have become apathetic. People have become disenfranchised from politics. We have a role to play, as long as we don't get corrupted as well in the process. But we, as followers of Ahlul Bayt, can always get involved in politics. Look to reform, look to try and be people of influence within society. Not for my own personal gain, but for the ijtima, for the society. Not just Muslim society, for all human beings. So those are the various aspects. But in order to achieve true utopia, true balance, true happiness, one must be able to banish that munkar from within, from family, from society, and establish that justice in the earth. And there are four main ways that the ulama say that a person should go about doing amr bil ma'ruf and nahi anil munkar. And it's both external and internal. These apply to our own personal spirituality as well as in the society outside if we're trying to reform. So the first thing is that highlight the sin, highlight the problem and what the effect of it is. What is the effect of people that lie? What is the effect of those that commit shirk? Go out, read books. Look, Gunahan Kabira of Ayatollah Dastaghaib Shirazi, Ma'ad of Ayatollah Dastaghaib Shirazi, where he speaks about the adhab of the qabr, the adhab of the barzakh, the adhab of akhirah, for those that do ghiba, for those that lie, for those that commit zina, for all of these various things that are there within these books. Try and understand it, ponder over them, try and change, understand that if I continue on this path that I'm going on, I'm going to end up facing the adhab of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then in order to increase, the second stage is what good I'm doing, I need to reinforce that good. I need to support that good. So if I'm making sure, if I'm praying on time, then I need to make sure that I maintain that prayer on time. Not that I begin to slip away from it. If we see that some of our youth are straying, but they have some good points, i.e. they're honest people, then praise that honesty. Work with that honesty. If our children wake up for Salat al-Fajr, go and reward them for it. Give them something sweet. This is known as positive reinforcement. So that you train the mind into knowing that this is a good action. Not that our children wake up for Fajr and we're like, look, go back to sleep. I'm asleep as well. You're waking me up for Fajr. For us it becomes a problem that our kids are waking up for Fajr. Because they're waking me up. Rather than positively reinforcing the fact that they're waking up. And various things in their life, if they tell the truth, we reinforce it positively so that they're able to develop this Islamic lifestyle. Fridays, though it may not be a public holiday here or a day off in this country, but at the very least on Fridays you can highlight the point that this is Yawmul Jum'ah. This is the day for us that is known as Eid. This is a day that is for us the day of happiness and celebration. On Yawmul Jum'ah, every Yawmul Jum'ah. وَهُوَ يَوْمُكَ الْمُتَوَقَّعُ فِيهِ ظُهُورُكَ. That we say in the ziyarat of the Friday for the Imam of our time, and this is the day where you shall make your reappearance. Yawmul Jum'ah is the day of the reappearance of the Imam. We have to remind our children. So we reinforce that by helping them. Instead, sometimes what we do is we go in the opposite direction. We see a youth has grown a beard. Alhamdulillah, it's good. They've grown a beard. They've gone against what is convention within society, although to some extent the hipsters have helped us along the way, but they go against what is convention within society, and then the first thing, the first comment they get, become a mullah now, nice beard. Oh, you become a druggie, have you? Grown your beard. So this is the type of comments that we get that push people away. A youth comes to the masjid after many months, and the first thing that people say, oh, salam, you're still Muslim. Okay, no problem, let me show you around our Husayniyah. Instead of positively bringing that person back into the fold so that they continue to come. So the first thing to do is that increase the good, support the good. The third is, if there is something that a person enjoys doing, but it is in the alam of kufr, try and replace it with an alternative. And Islam did this. When the early Muslims came, they said to the Holy Prophet, they said, we want to worship Allah all the time. We always want to worship Allah. Look at the Christian monks. I wish we could be like them. This is what the early Muslims said. Look, they just go into the monastery and they just worship Allah. They just worship God all the time. We want to dedicate our lives to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Holy Prophet said being a monk is not jaiz in Islam. However, for you there is i'tikaf. You come and you could do i'tikaf. 3 days, 10 days, you stay away from everything, you seclude yourself and go towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Some other youth came, the Holy Prophet told them a story of a man from Bani Israel who worshipped Allah for 80 years, and that's all he did. He separated himself from society, and for 80 years he worshipped Allah. They came to the Holy Prophet, Ya Allah, O Prophet of Allah, how we wish we too could worship Allah constantly and not have to worry about this. If only we could worship Allah for 80 years. The ayah came down, Laylatul Qadr khayrun min alf shahr. Laylatul Qadr is greater than 1,000 months. Go. There's your alternative. So try and find an alternative. Try and find a way out of that sin, out of that kufr. And then the final way to implement that Amr bil Ma'ruf is slowly in stages. Now these stages, we're talking about the mustahabbat. No, there's no stages in wajibat. We say, no, I'm just going to start praying. No, when you're 14, 15, as men, wajib. Women, when they hit the age of taklif at 9 or 10 years, hijab, wajib, salah, wajib, fasting, wajib. The wajibat, there's no, okay, I'll slowly ease myself in. That slowly easing yourself in is what the Imams say. That when your sons are at the age of 8 and 9, enforce upon them the salah with strictness. How do you expect them to reach the age of 14 and all of a sudden become a person that prays namaz overnight? They've been given the freedom. That age of 10 or 11, start enforcing upon them the salah, so that when they reach the age of 14, it is part of their habit. And upon your girls from the age of 7 or 8. So it becomes habit for them when they reach the age of taklif. But after those, the mustahabbat, if we're trying to change ourselves, we do it in stages. We slowly but surely implement other things. We want to build ourselves spiritually. We have charts for when we go to the gym. Those that go to the gym will know that you track your progress. You say, this week I lifted this much. This week I lifted this much. I'm going to increase it by this much. This. And this is my diet plan. This is how much protein I'm taking. All that. Those that go to the gym know. So you have all of that system for yourself. Why not have the same for your spirituality? This week I prayed my salah on time. From next week, I'm going to add the tasbih of Hazrat Zahra to my regime. The week after, I will try and add the various ziyarat for the day. Then I give it 2 weeks of just doing that until that becomes common for me. Then the week after, I want to start implementing praying Salat al-Layl. If I can't pray all 11 rakats, maybe I'll just start with the 1 rakat of Salat al-Witr. And then I slowly build myself like this. So it's this whole program. Slowly but gradually, we're building ourselves towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tazkiyatun nafs, the purification of the soul, is not an easy journey. If anyone ever said to you that, overnight you just say Ya Ali and that's it, you're fine, it's not that easy. Tazkiyatun nafs, the purification of the soul, to become a person of the akhirah, is very difficult. In fact, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the hadith of Mi'raj addresses the Holy Prophet. He says about the people of the Akhirah, يُمُوتُ النَّاسِ مَرَّةً وَيُمُوتُ أَهَدُهُمْ فِي كُلِّ يَوْمٍ 70 مرة. He says that all of mankind only die once in their life. But the people of the Akhirah die every day, 70 times a day, fighting against their lowly nafsi desires. It's like dying. When you have something that is in front of you and no one can see, and you could go towards that object of your desire and you decide to walk away. It's worse than dying at times. It says they die every day, they kill their nafs every day, they kill their desires every day in order that they achieve closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is a difficult journey, but through gradual planning, through stages and stages, we can annihilate diseases like anger within ourselves. We can annihilate diseases like pride. We can annihilate diseases like lying and jealousy. This is what we slowly but surely pull away from ourselves. And it's this constant development, constant progression. There cannot be any stagnation. Stagnant water has one characteristic, or a couple of characteristics. It smells, it harbors diseases. The stagnant soul is exactly the same. There are certain sins that a person commits that it shows on their faces, and the urafa can see upon the faces of those that commit certain sins. It affects their outward look. It affects the smell from their body, both physically and spiritually. The one that is accustomed to sinning a lot, his body will let out a very bad odor. The one that recites Salat al-Layl, one of the effects of Salat al-Layl is that bad body odor will be removed from him, and bad breath will be removed from him. One of the physical effects of Salat al-Layl. The one that accustoms himself to praying Salat al-Layl. Certain sins, when we commit them, they create a change within our soul. They let off a spiritual scent that the awliya of Allah know this person is a sinner. The faces of people reveal what sins they have committed, and you can see upon their faces the sins that have been written. So the soul that has become stagnated begins to give off that smell. I've been reciting the same surah in my namaz for the last 30 years. I'm happy. Surah Hamd, Surah Qul Huwallah, Surah Hamd, Surah Qasar. Yeah? The same one. I go into ruku, the same dhikr for the last 30 years. Subhanallah, 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 Subhana Rabbi al-Azim wa bihamdih. Yeah? I do the same thing over and over and over. So then what happens? I become ghafil. I go to pray, and then I'm just doing it autopilot mode. Those of you that commute to work, Over here in India, maybe a little bit difficult to go into this mode, but in England, definitely. Here, your traffic's always weaving this way and that way, and so you're always awake. I said to someone in Mumbai, I said, at least one good thing about the traffic here is you don't need coffee to stay awake. The traffic is enough to keep you awake. In England, sometimes, the traffic is flowing, the roads are straight, and you end up falling asleep at the wheel. Here, in India, and especially places like Mumbai, you don't need coffee. You just wait for someone to run out in front of you, and you hit the brakes, and that keeps you awake. So, but those that are accustomed to doing the same route over and over, sometimes you think, how did I get here? I can't remember the route I took. I know I got to work on time, but my mind was elsewhere, and I don't remember the journey. I don't remember the journey. Why? Because I was ghafil. I was in a state of ghafla. I wasn't attentive. I wasn't focused. So my mind was elsewhere, and you reach there and you think, how did I reach here? Thank God I'm alive. But we do the same with our namaz. We start praying namaz, and then we're like, oh wait, what sajda was this? Oh, I forgot what rakat I'm in. Yeah? Because the mind is ghafil, it is inattentive, it is elsewhere, it's been drawn towards other things. And the mind that is in the state of ghafla, many people will come to Allah on Yawm al-Qiyamah, Ilahi, there's something wrong. Says why? It says here that in 1996 I prayed 1 rakat of namaz. But Allah, I died when I was 80. I prayed every day since I was 14. Says, no, this is the 1 rakat that we accepted from you. This is the 1 rakat where you had the presence of heart. This is that one time where you actually focused on your prayer. You weren't thinking about, oh, after this I need to go to work. This is where I left my key, or that's what I need to do afterwards. It says this is the one time that you focus. This 1 rakat in 96, this 1 sajda in 97. So that's all we accepted from you. Everything else, I have narrations. So a person that is a ghafil. So in order to change that state of ghafla, I'll give you one piece of advice that we hear from the teachers of akhlaq, and then we'll try and move on and complete this part of the hadith today, and then inshallah tomorrow we'll open another portion of the hadith. One of the ways that a person can reawaken themselves, in the same way that you do when you go to work and stuff, in order to stimulate the different parts of your brain to keep you awake, is you take a different route. Yeah, you go through a different route that you don't usually take, keeps you awake. Same with salah. If you've always recited Surah Al-Hamd and Surah Kawthar, change the second surah. Obviously you can't change Surah Al-Hamd, that's wajib. But the second surah you can change. Change it different. It'll activate different parts of your brain. It'll make you concentrate, make you more aware. If you've always done Subhana Rabbiyal Azim wa bihamdih, now say Subhanallah, 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 Subhana Rabbiyal Azim wa bihamdih. Or if you've already done that, then add salawats to the end of it. Do something to change it. If you're in sajda, you've always said Subhana Rabbiyal A'la wa bihamdih. Maybe say Subhana Rabbiyal A'la wa bihamdih, then Subhanallah, 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 Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Do different things in order so that the person, or that we become more attentive. So this is one of the advices that the teachers of akhlaq give us. Please recite salawat. The topic in discussion is what Imam al-Sajjad is telling us, that there are certain sins in our life that do what? تُغَيِّرُ النِّعَمْ. They change our blessings, and this is what we say in dua. Allahumma ighfir li adh-dhunub allati تُغَيِّرُ النِّعَمْ. Oh Allah, forgive those sins of mine that change my blessings, that remove my blessings and bring bala, difficulty and problems in my life, that I move away from you. So Imam has said there are 4 or 5 reasons. We've discussed 3. The 4th reason that the Imam says is kufranun na'am. A person that does kufran ni'mat, a person that denies or disbelieves in the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. does not believe those blessings to be from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When Sayyid al-Shuhada is leaving Mecca, they say that Sayyid al-Shuhada, as he was leaving, a man by the name of Abu Hiram comes and he says, who is it that is leaving Mecca during the season of Hajj? This is the night before. This is wrong when people say Sayyid al-Shuhada left Hajj, he changed into the ihram of Umrah. No, Sayyid al-Shuhada leaves. The Maqatil say 8th of the Hijjah, Hajj starts on the 9th. Sayyid al-Shuhada leaves before Hajj. Does his Umrah, he leaves before Hajj. And on the 8th, Abu Hiram comes, says, who is leaving the house of God during the Hajj season? Abu Abdullah addresses him, says, Ya Abu Hiram, oh Abu Hiram, they took our wealth, i.e. Fadak, and we were patient. They attacked our izzat, our honor, i.e. the cursing of Amir al-Mu'mineen by Muawiyah. Says, but we were patient. But now Abu Hiram, they want our blood. So we have left from them. But no, O Abu Hiram, they will kill me. But a nation shall overcome them and overthrow them and will humiliate them worse than the people of Sabah. Then Sayyid al-Shuhada explains, who are the people of Sabah? Says the people of Sabah were a nation that were bestowed with divine bounties. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them a beautiful stream by the name of Tharthar that flew through their lands. And as a result of that stream, they had huge orchards, many lands, and they would begin to yield many fruit, wheat, everything that they wanted as the result of the barakah of the stream. And for years, they fed off the bounties of the land till the point, it got to the point that they became so ghafil that now they would bake bread and use that pure white bread to wipe their children after their children had gone to the toilet. They would wipe their backsides and they would take this bread, they would wipe their children with it and throw the bread onto a pile until there was a mountain of this bread covered in feces. And they would continue this practice because they had plenty of this bread, plenty of blessings of Allah, and they would do this and they would throw it away, do this and they would throw it away, until they say one of the Arafah, one of the awliya of Allah was walking past. He saw a woman doing this, cleaning her child's bottom with a piece of bread, and she throws it aside. He turns to her, he says, fear Allah, what are you doing? This is the ni'mah, this is a blessing of Allah, this is food, and you're using it to wipe the genitals of your child. She turns towards him and in arrogance she says to him, as long as we have the stream, we have nothing to worry about. You have nothing to do with this. You go from here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala becomes so angry at her words, He says He cuts off the stream to the people of Sabah. He cut off the stream of the people of Sabah. Now what happens? Their trees die, their land dies, they become impoverished. Famine strikes them. What do they have to do? Remember that pile of bread covered in the feces of their children? The people of Sabah begin to weigh that out and sell it to each other, and they begin to consume that bread. Kufran-e na'amah. When a person is given by na'amah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he doesn't, there's three types of kufran-e na'amah. The first is when one does it through jahala. He's jahil. The person doesn't acknowledge this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He doesn't know. He's jahil. He has it, he takes it, and doesn't acknowledge it's from Allah. The second type of person that does kufran in ni'mah is the person that does it through his actions. Allah has given him loads, everything, but he always finds time to complain. There are certain people that have this disease of complaining all the time. No matter what you do for them, they have some sort of complaint. There's always some sort of negativity. They can't ever see the positive in anything. Something changes, they're unhappy. Something stays the same, they're unhappy. They're given something new, they're unhappy. You bring them something, They're still unhappy. This is kufran-i-ni'mat. A person has everything in their life and all they do is complain about their pain in the leg. They have everything in their life, they have children around them. Yes, it's good, but this pain, this is kufran-i-ni'mat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can send adhab at any time in our life. Remember the story of Sa'laba that I told you yesterday? Sa'laba, that companion, the Holy Prophet prays for him. Sa'laba goes, he becomes rich. Now afterwards, he stops coming to the masjid. And then after coming to the masjid, he stops coming to the masjid. Then they go to him to collect his zakat. Sa'laba says, what do you mean zakat? This is mine. I don't want to pay any of this. I worked hard for this. I got this through my own hard work. I'm not going to pay no zakat, no khums, nothing. They say Sa'laba became murtad. He left the religion and he died a kafir. Why? Because of his love of his wealth. And that attachment to the dunya that made him do kufran-i-ni'mat. Then now he knows Allah's bestowed him, but he finds something to complain. So the second is that person that always complains. They are doing kufran-i-ni'mat. The third is that person who does the kufr of the body, i.e. their hands, their feet, their eyes, they're using them to do sin. They're looking at haram, they're listening to haram, they're speaking haram. This is kufran-i-ni'mat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with hands. This is ni'mah. He's blessed us with aql. This is ni'mah. He's blessed us with feet. This is the blessing. When we choose to sin, this is us showing that we don't care about your ni'mah. We don't care of your ni'mah. Nothing to do with us. Walk away. And what are the reasons for why people do this? The ulama, they come up with 4 reasons. So the first is through jahl. We've already discussed this. They don't know any better. Or they don't want to know any better. There's difference. There's one person who doesn't know. There's another person who says, no, I don't want to know. I've done this all my life. I don't need you to tell me anything new now. I've heard this all my life from the member. You come along and tell me this. I don't want to hear it. This is the jahil that doesn't want to change. This is the worst type. Or the worst is the jahil that doesn't know he's jahil. Yeah? So the first is through jahl. The second reason is through people's words and actions. It is through their words and their actions that they do kufran-i-ni'mat. That we addressed again that idea of sinning. That I have something in my life, but I tell people I achieved this. I got a degree, alhamdulillah, I worked hard for this. And not even alhamdulillah sometimes. I worked hard for this. My business did well because I put the hours in. My children are so smart because I put this in. My children achieved this because I did this. I did this, I did this, I did this. This is kufran-i-ni'mat. And Allah will take away those very children. Because of that, because children are a ni'am from Allah. They're a ni'mah from Allah. And so when a person begins to become mutakabbir and believes everything is from him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes it all away. And the person's left thinking, I had everything, but now? Why? Because all those years, no Allah, everything was me. I did it. My hard work, my effort, my aql made me reach this point. The third reason for why a person will do kufran-i-ni'mat is the lack of tawfiq from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Amir al-Mu'mineen himself says, Laysa min tawfiq kufranun na'am. He says that the person that does kufran-i-ni'mat is because the person has not been given the tawfiq by Allah. And the tawfiq by Allah isn't given for the one that already forgets, does nisyan, forgets Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, thinks everything is from me. So then he never has the tawfiq to thank Allah. The fourth reason is the person is ghafil, is inattentive, just doesn't ever think about it, doesn't ever think in his life, you know, this house that I have, this car that I have, these children that I have, these good looks that I have, all of these things that we think about. Yeah, we say sometimes, you know, we take these selfies, make ourselves look really nice and whatever, and then, you know, we look in the mirror and think, oh, mashallah, that was a great haircut I chose for myself. Yeah, it's a great haircut I chose for myself. And so then that becomes kufran ni'mah. Not masha'Allah, alhamdulillah. And we have du'as to recite. When you look in the mirror and you are pleased with what you see, thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He'll make you more better looking. But don't remove him from the picture. So the person that is ghafil, that is why they do kufran ni'mat. So the fourth reason for why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does tughayyir ni'am, remove someone's blessings from them, is that they do kufran ni'mat. And the final reason, the fifth reason, is that that person leaves shukr. He does not do shukr. He doesn't thank Allah for what he has in his life. So Allah takes it away from him. Not kufran ni'mat. Now he doesn't do kufran ni'mat, but he doesn't thank Allah for what he has. And it's a very simple formula. If you like something in your life and you really want more of it, if you like how good you look, or if you like how much wealth you have, or if you like how much stability you have, if you like the social standing you have, if you like the honor that you have, if you like the izzat that you have, it's a very simple way to get more of it. Allah says in the Holy Quran, لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. You thank me, I'll give you more. You thank me, I'll give you more. Whatever it is, just thank me for it. Just remember me for it. Ask me for it. Allah says to Nabi Musa, says, Musa, ask me even for the salt that goes on your food. Sometimes we think this dua is not, it's too trivial to ask Allah for it. Says Allah, it's too, why am I going to ask Allah for this? You know, I'll ask Him for the big things. For the small things, I can do it myself. This is kufran in ni'mat. Allah says to Nabi Musa, Musa, ask me even for the salt that you want to put on your food. When a person doesn't do shukr, Allah takes away the blessings. But those that do shukr, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevates them beyond everything. Come to Karbala. Look at them. How they're going out. How each of them is preparing. How Sayyid al-Shuhada's body lies in Karbala, and Zainab runs, Allahumma taqabbal minna hadha al-qurban. That Allah accepts from us this sacrifice. That constant thanking Allah, that constant remembering Allah. Karbala, not just the elderly, but the youth were dissolved in the love of Allah. Said that Qasim came to his uncle, kissed his hands and his feet, asking for the opportunity to go out and die. But there were more youth in Karbala, youth that their greatness was accepted by all. Young men like Ali Akbar. That Ali Akbar is that individual that when they say, the Maqtal says that when Ali Akbar intended to leave, the women came around and said, Ali, if you go, then who will be left to protect us? Says Ali Akbar, while you were here, we were safe. Ali Akbar, his sister would come forward, his aunt would come forward, his mother would come forward. Ali Akbar is that individual that is known, he's dear to everyone in Karbala, not because he's the son of Abu Abdullah, no. خَلْقًا وَخُلُقًا وَمَنْطِقًا لِرَسُولِكَ. Ali Akbar is dear to them because he looked like the Prophet, but because he had the akhlaq of the Prophet. Ali Akbar had good akhlaq and he was loved by all. It's because Ali Akbar had good intellect that he was loved by all. And so when Ali Akbar comes on the day of Ashura to his father after all the companions have gone, Abu Abdullah, they say that Imam al-Hussein, when Ali Akbar from Bani Hashim comes to Abi Abdullah, Ya Abata, give me permission to go out and fight. Abu Abdullah straight away gives Ali Akbar permission. For everyone else, he said, no, not now, another time. But when his own son came, they say Abi Abdullah straight away gave Ali Akbar permission. But the Maqtal says one line, says, فَنَظَرَ آيِسٍ مِنْهِ Hussein looked at his son with sorrow in his eyes. He says to him, إلي ودعك وتودعني أشمك وتشمني. He says, my son, come to me, let me bid you farewell, you bid farewell to me. You hug me, let me hug you. You smell me, let me smell you one last time. Abu Abdullah prepares his son Ali Akbar, and he ties his amama around his head. He brings the taht al-hanaq under the neck of Ali Akbar. He dresses him like a man going out in kafan. They say Ali Akbar mounted his horse. He began riding out, but he heard someone running and stumbling behind him. He turns around to see his elderly father. Mahlan mahala, mahlan mahala ya bunayya. Slowly, slowly, oh my son. Then they say Abu Abdullah ran after Ali Akbar. He held his beard in his hand. Allahumma ashhad ha'ula'i al-qawm qad barada alayhim الغلام أشبه الناس خلقا وخلقا ومنطقا لرسولك. Ya Allah, bear witness that this nation fights against that son of mine that resembled the Prophet in looks, in akhlaq, and in the way that he spoke and he walked. Then he turns towards Umar ibn Sa'ad. He says, Ya Umar ibn Sa'ad, قَطَعَ اللَّهُ قَوْمًا قَتَلُوكَ. He says, may Allah curse that nation that killed my son. Ali Akbar goes out to fight. Abu Abdullah stands at the tent of the women. Inside the tent Zainab, inside the tent Layla, inside the tent Sakina. They watch the battle of Ali Akbar through the face of Abu Abdullah. When they see the face of Abi Abdullah happy, they know Ali Akbar is fine. But at one moment the Maqtal says that the face of Abu Abdullah dropped. Layla runs forward. Ya Abu Abdullah, is my son Ali Akbar okay? Abu Abdullah says to her, Layla, Ali Akbar is fine. However, he fights against a strong opponent by the name of Bakr ibn al-Ghanim. Layla, pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah never rejects the dua of a mother. Layla goes inside the tent. She said she opened her hair. She raises her hands. What is the dua of Layla? Ilahi bi'atashi Abi Abdullah, Ilahi bi'ghurbati Abi Abdullah, Ya Rad Yusuf ila Yaqub, Ya Rad Musa ila urdud ilayya waladi Ali. Oh Allah, for the sake of the thirst of Abi Abdullah, oh Allah, for the sake of the loneliness of Abi Abdullah, oh the one that returned Yusuf back to Yaqub, oh the one that returned Musa back to his mother, return my son Ali back to me. Layla does her dua. Allah accepts. Ali Akbar kills Bakr ibn al-Ghanim. He returns back towards the tents of Abi Abdullah. Now he addresses his father. Those of you that are parents will know when your son, no matter how old they become, even if they have children of their own, when a son comes towards the parents with a request and the parents know that it is within their strength to give it to them, and especially if that request is something simple, how difficult is it for those parents to reject? Ali Akbar rides towards his father. He looks towards Abi Abdullah. Ya Abata, al-'atash qad qatalani وثقل الحديد قد أجعدني هل لي شربة الماء. He says, oh my father, the thirst is killing me and the weight of my armor is taking the strength from my body. Is there a drop of water that Ali Akbar could drink? Abi Abdullah says to him, my son Ali, dismount. He says, Ali Akbar, there's no water. Isbir qaleel. My son, be patient for a little while, for soon you will drink from that pool that your grandfather will feed you from. Then Abu Abdullah says, Ali Akbar, he says, place your tongue on my tongue. Maybe there may be some moisture there. Maybe there may be something that you can use. They say Abu Abdullah put his tongue out. Ali Akbar placed his tongue upon the tongue of his father. Ali Akbar pulls away his tongue. Father, your tongue is drier than mine. Abu Abdullah takes off his ring, says, Ali, put this in your mouth. Maybe this will help. Ali Akbar goes inside towards the tents. Abu Abdullah says, go meet your mother, Ali Akbar. Ali Akbar goes inside the tents to meet Layla. Layla is unconscious upon the ground. Sakina standing by Layla. She says, Ya Layla, wake up. Look, your Ali Akbar is here. Ali Akbar goes towards his mother. They say he took the head of Layla in his lap. The blood from the head of Ali Akbar fell on the face of Layla. She opens her eyes. Ahlan bika ya noora ayni. Oh, welcome, oh light of my eyes. Ali Akbar addresses his mother, says, Ya Amma, ma hadha al-jaza' wa ma hadha al-buka. Mother, what is this wailing? What is this crying? Look at all these other women that have given their sons. Mother, don't you want to hold your head high on Yawm al-Qiyamah in front of Fatima Zahra and say, Ya Zahra, I gave my son Ali for your son Hussein. She says, Ali Akbar, go, I've given you. Ali Akbar mounts upon his horse. He goes out to fight again. They say Ali Akbar killed a further 20 men, but now Ali Akbar can no longer fight. Hamid ibn Muslim says, a man next to me said, by Allah, I'm going to cause a pain in the heart of Hussein today by killing this son of Hussein. Hamid says, I said to him that he's surrounded. They will eventually kill the man. Leave him be. He says, no, I'm going to kill him. He takes an aim at the back of Ali Akbar. They say as Ali Akbar was turned, he was fighting with those in front of him. He threw a spear that went through the back of Ali Akbar. Ali Akbar falls forward upon his horse. The blood from the head of Ali Akbar goes inside the eye of the horse. The horse, not knowing where to run, he runs into the army of Yazid. They begin striking the body of Ali Akbar. Whoever had a sword hit the body of Ali. Whoever had an arrow hit the body of Ali. There are only 3 people within Maqtal where certain words are used. One of these words that is used for Ali Akbar. The other person that it is used for is Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas. The third person that it is used for is Abu Abdullah himself. What is this line? They say when he rode out, he was struck. They say فَقَطَّعُوهُ إِرْبًا إِرْبًا. They ripped shreds from the body of Ali. They mutilated the body of Ali Akbar. Now as Ali begins to sway upon his horse, he's struck and he falls. He calls out to his father, Ya abata alayka minni salam. Father, accept my final salams. There's no need for a reply. Hada jaddi Rasulillah. Here I see my grandfather Rasulullah. Sakina narrates, she says, when Ali Akbar called out, I saw my father Hussein standing at the door of the tent. When Ali Akbar called out for the last time, she says, I saw as if the soul of Hussein was leaving his body. Abu Abdullah makes his way. Some say Hussein walked. Some say he walked and fell. Some say Hussein crawled. Some say he called out, Ya Ali, where are you? But he reached the body of Ali Akbar. Ali Akbar lie upon the plains of Karbala. He sits by the head of his son. They say he took the head of Ali Akbar in his lap. He wiped away the dirt on the cheek of Ali Akbar. He wiped away the blood on the teeth of Ali Akbar. He placed his cheek on the cheek of his son Ali Akbar. Bunay Ali. They say Hussein placed his cheek 3 times on the cheek of Ali Akbar. He said, may Allah curse that nation that killed you, Ali. Oh Ali, what will I do without you? And then the 3rd time he placed his cheek on the cheek of Ali Akbar, he cried out, Ala dunya ba'daka al-afa. My son Ali, what pleasure is there left in this dunya after you? Hussein is sitting there. The Maqtal narrates, they say, who is there now? فَرَفَعَ صَوْتُهُ بِالْبُكَى. Hussein's voice began wailing loudly. Who is there to give condolences to Hussein? Who is there to help Hussein? They say we saw a woman running out from the tents. Zainab throws herself on the body of Ali Akbar. Oh Hussein, my son Ali has been killed. Hussein, accept the condolences of Zainab. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive our sins. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive the sins of our parents. Oh Allah, those of our parents that are alive, give them long lives. Those of our parents that have left this world, give them a place next to Ali Muhammad in Jannah. Oh Allah, those who are ill, give them shifa'ah. Those who are in debt, clear their debts. Oh Allah, those who are in education, make them successful. Oh Allah, keep our ulama and our maraji at the head of our institutions. Ya Allah, destroy the enemies of tashayyu, both internal and external. Ya Allah, keep safe the Imam of our time and hasten his reappearance. Ya Allah, allow us to be amongst his true muntadhirin, his true awaiters, for the acceptance of these du'as and any other du'as that the brothers and sisters have brought. Please recite 3 loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Zainab Ali Akbar